Hi friends, greetings from my kitchen. Happy St. Patrick's Day night. I just got home maybe an hour or so ago from my daughter and son-in-law's house, where I saw my grandsons, of course, and my wonderful son and his girlfriend, and spent maybe 6 or 7 hours there, where we conversed and had fun and played with the babies and ate my shepherd's pie and things like that. I cannot yet seem to get the hang of this ring light, so I apologize. It seems like no matter what I do, it's too bright, even though I turn the setting down and actually physically turn the light over. I feel like it's harsh, and I apologize. Oh God, see, I should work all this out, right, before I even start to film. But I wanted to just say hi and hope that everyone had a nice day, whether you celebrated or not. I hope your Sunday went well. And yeah, my shepherd's pie came out good. I only ate one piece, so that was good. And right now, and I also made corned beef and cabbage, which I left home for me to have like leftovers and stuff. And right now I'm actually eating some mashed carrots. But, sorry, that's like my nod to a mukbang. My hair did not come out at all good today, so I just pulled it back with like a little headband. And so, what did I want to talk about? I don't know. I have a lot on my mind, but I always say that. But I don't feel ready for some reason to organize my thoughts and come up with like a real topic, because all of my topics that I have in mind are all kind of emotionally top-heavy, and I don't know. I'm kind of like mentally and emotionally tired these days. Right now I'm pretty mellow. My grandsons were just absolute delights today. I had a good time feeding everyone and just hanging out and being relaxed and casual. My ex/husband, I guess it's dumb to call him my ex if we're still married, but my estranged husband was there also. He picked me up this morning and we went together. Today is our 22nd wedding anniversary. 22 years ago today. We didn't get married. Well, it wasn't a wedding, so I shouldn't call it a wedding anniversary. It's the anniversary we got married. At City Hall, I was pregnant, and, you know, that probably sounds more sordid than it is. We were living together briefly after dating since September of '94. I moved in with him right after Christmas in '97, and there were some problems. There was some adjustment issues, and I kind of really got spooked, and I was actually ready to kind of move back out, and then I found out I was pregnant, and there was no way I was going to go and raise another child on my own. So we did get married. I wouldn't say we got married under duress, but it was, you know, time was of the essence because I needed to get on his insurance to have the child and everything. And no regrets, because I adore my son. I don't talk a lot about my kids on here because my channel is more about sort of me and like my life's experiences, but then my children are an enormous part of my life's experiences. My daughter is 30 and she's an RN working in a cardiac care unit. She has 2 beautiful boys and a wonderful son-in-law. I couldn't ask for better. And my son goes to college. He's 21. He has a beautiful girlfriend who's a very talented musician. And my son is studying environmental sciences. So I'm super proud of them. And so I'm very friendly with my ex. We're very good friends. We had a nice drive up, a nice drive back. We have a lot in common. We talk, we laugh. When I say this to people, they're like, well, why aren't you together? Why don't you live together? It's complicated. You know, it's really, relationships are complicated, and my hat is so off to anybody who can make one work in this day and age with the baggage we carry and the trauma we've been through. You know, almost everyone I know of has had some kind of trauma in their life. And I'm not going to blame myself. It was really both of us. You know, it takes 2 to make something work or make something fall apart. But I've always had some mental issues and emotional struggles in my life, as does he. And the climate of our relationship at that time was just very, very tight and stressful. And he had 2 very young sons from his first marriage. And our relationship I would kind of classify as sort of a rebound. And but we did date through a personal ad. It was before the internet, and very, very passionate like sexually charged relationship from the get-go. He's a very handsome man, was and is, and he was the first man I've ever felt really alive with. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, if you know what I mean. I don't mean to get into TMI, prurient detail, but a lot of times that can masquerade as love, and love is a very big emotion. It's a very big concept, and it means different things for different times in your life and for what your needs are. And I think that some couples grow and change and evolve together, and some just grow and evolve and change apart, but yet they can still maintain sort of a good root to the relationship. It's really hard to explain. He's very type A and sort of controlling, and that's the kindest way I can put it, because I don't really harbor ill will against him, but I do also really love and cherish my independence, my creativity, my own space, my ability to navigate throughout my world and life and do what I want to. But I enjoy my time with him. He kind of gets me, and he's a good man in a lot of ways, and I consider him an ally and a friend. I know that I can count on him if I have a health issue, or my car breaks down, or I find myself really destitute. We do talk from time to time about getting back together, but in the past, I would say, let's see, I first left him in like 04, went back in 09. Since like 09 to now, we've gone back and forth living together like 4 or 5 times, which gets really exhausting. The act of moving in and out of a place, and kids were always coming and going, and you know, my son lives with him when he's off from school, and he has one of his grown sons living with him now. The idea of living with him again makes sense financially, with the fact that I probably wouldn't have to work anymore. He could definitely support us both, but it's good for me in a lot of ways to work and have my independence and try to make this work for as long as I can. He isn't a fan of social media, Facebook, Instagram, certainly would not like me probably putting my life out there on YouTube. I told my daughter today I had a YouTube channel, and she didn't seem too thrilled, but you know, part of being a woman of my age is kind of doing what I want to do and taking responsibility for it and letting the chips fall where they may, and not worrying too much about what people think if I'm not hurting anybody. You know, it's not everybody's cup of tea to be on social media or have a channel, and I know that I'm not putting out any earth-shaking content or anything particularly entertaining. It's kind of a hobby. It's just a way of making friends and talking about myself and my life, which I think most people do enjoy doing. Maybe we're all a tiny bit narcissistic at heart, but my life is kind of a small, closed-off circle of just a few people and my daily routine. And so by doing this and making friends from all over and relating to people about certain topics, Amberlynn Reed, among all kinds of other things, health and nutrition and creativity and all sorts of things. Let me try to pull that down. I'm wearing green today, just my little arrow pendant and some Celtic design earrings. I am part Irish, so, you know, it's St. Patrick's Day, and it was just so great to see everybody. I love Irish food. I love food in general, but I felt like I ate very mindfully today, so that felt really good. My daughter could tell I had lost some weight. Potatoes and carrots and mustard. I'm sorry, I hope I'm not grossing anyone out by doing that. I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it casual. So yeah, 22 years ago, I stood in town hall, and let's see, how pregnant was I? Maybe 3 months. I remember holding my bouquet. You know, it's just very simple. It wasn't a big deal affair at all. A couple of people were there, and we just signed the papers, and like, boom, we were married. We were already living together, so we sometimes joke that getting married that day was just another errand to run. If I had it to do all over again, I would love to have a wedding. I sort of believe in romance and the pomp and circumstance of that day. When I was married in 1988 to my first husband, it was when I was still in the cult, and it was more or less an arranged marriage, just in somebody's house, and it was just cult members that were there, and we were married by somebody who did have an officiant's license, even though, you know, he was in the cult, and he married us. And I'm not saying that that wasn't legit, because it was legal, and I had a daughter that very year. So I never look back with regret on things that brought me good things in my life. And I don't mean to call my children things, but, you know, my 2 unions brought forth 2 wonderful, amazing human beings who enrich my life constantly, whether I see them regularly or not, because everyone's really busy. And my daughter works her ass off. She's a charge nurse on the cardiac care unit, and I'm really proud of her. She's super smart. And my son is an amazing musician. He's been in a couple bands, and he's a sensitive, kind, artistic, funny. I can't say enough about my kids, really. And I don't care if that sounds like I'm bragging. I don't really have a lot to brag about as far as my accomplishments in life at all. I've had a string of jobs, and I'm sort of a chronic under-earner, underachiever, even though I know I'm intelligent. I'll get into that at some point. I'll actually share with you guys my list of all the jobs I've ever had in my life. But I'm proud of myself that I've always worked and always kept chugging ahead and tried to contribute to society. Unlike some people we know who get paid for eating and being a lazy, gluttonous liar. Oh God, why do I incorporate her into my soliloquies here? I do write. I write a lot of poetry, and I've written like screenplays and articles and freelance articles, and I've done local photojournalism, gotten a little bit of money for that. I do consider myself a writer at heart, which people seem to take umbrage at, like, well, how could you call yourself a writer? That's not what you do for a living. What I do for a living is take care of people who can't take care of themselves, and that alone is rewarding, but it's not gainful employment. I don't make a lot of money doing what I do. I do it because I have compassion for people, and it gives me enough of a paycheck to where I can pay my basic bills and still eat, but very, very, very little left over. As a matter of fact, my car is really on its way out, and I got to think about leasing something a little newer with less miles on it. My car is an '03, which is ridiculous. And I have a lot of debt, a lot of bills, and it's expensive to live really, even humbly, in New York. And I'm like an hour from the city. I'm not in the city. I'm in like a rather bucolic suburb. But yeah, wow, this is rambly and all over the place. I've been talking for almost 13 minutes. I can't imagine people that fill up 40 minutes with a ramble. Maybe at this juncture I can change up my settings a little. Cold, cool, blue. I think I like this one. Yeah, I like this one. So yeah, I don't know. I was just feeling a little down tonight, a little lonely after a wonderful day surrounded by my loved ones. I get a little bit melancholy because I miss them. My one grandson is 2.5, and the other one is 5 months old. They're so gorgeous and so loving and so sweet, and they don't have fits or meltdowns or cry, or, I mean, obviously they cry, they're kids, but they're just, it's such a warm feeling. I could cry just even thinking about it right now. But back to work tomorrow at 2 in the morning. I'm going to go do some laundry. I'm going to try to clean up my house. I just took my garbage out. I've got a bunch of dishes to do. I got to clean up all my cooking stuff from last night. I cannot express enough how amazing that shepherd's pie came out. Maybe at some point in the future I can start doing cook with me's, because cooking is another passion of mine. I'm not a gourmet cook. I can just, I don't know. I'm good with ingredients, and I know my way around a kitchen and how to put things together on a budget. So that's a strong point of mine, I think. And yeah, I guess that's it for now. If I think of anything else, you know me, I will pop back on later. And I think I'll have my second cigarette of the whole day, finish my little root vegetable snack, and watch some YouTube videos while I do the dishes. Thank you for listening to me ramble, and peace and love to all of you. Happy St. Patrick's Day. May the roads rise to meet you, and may God hold you in the palm of his hand till we meet again. Something like that. So, love you guys. Till next time. Peace.